Countries all around the world are in different stages of development. Some countries, like Japan, seem highly futuristic, while others, for multiple complex reasons, seem like they're multiple decades behind. Between these two extremes, Lithuania mostly fits somewhere in the middle. Now, I won't get into conservative versus modern attitudes and values, but I do want to use today's video to talk about some aspects of life in this country, things that make it seem a little more futuristic. So let's get started. The big thing I should first talk about is Lithuania's role in the laser industry. Apparently, the country has quote-unquote global leadership in laser technologies. The website lithuania.lt says that the country has over 50 years of laser expertise and is a major league player in both scientific and industrial laser technologies. The website goes on to say that the Lithuanian laser industry has provided solutions for organizations like NASA and IBM, and that Lithuanian scientists have made significant contributions in the field of ultra-short lasers. One such technology is optical parametric chirped pulse amplification, or OPCPA. This was developed by scientists at Vilnius University. The country's laser industry currently occupies more than 50% of the world's ultra-short scientific laser market, with Lithuanian lasers installed at CERN, NASA, and leading laboratories in the United States. Apparently, over 90 of the world's top 100 universities are using lasers made in Lithuania. So, it's pretty awesome that little Lithuania is making these contributions in such a modern and high-tech field. So, what about stuff that visitors and residents will encounter in day-to-day life? Well, the first thing that comes to mind in terms of daily life are the few self-serve, fully automated convenience stores that have recently popped up in Vilnius. At these stores, you aren't likely to find a human person present, and if you do see them, they might just be stocking shelves. So far, I've only seen these stores in the form of Iki 24/7 brand shops. You scan in with your payment card, take what you want, and then walk out after confirming what you've taken. Cameras track everything you take and everything you put back. So, seemingly like magic, you go to the checkout with everything that you've taken, and it all shows up on the screen, and all you have to do is confirm and walk out, and your card will be charged. The first time I ever heard of something like this was with the introduction of Amazon Go, which I think launched in Seattle. In doing research for this video, I'm surprised that the launch of this Amazon Go store took place all the way back in 2016. So maybe it's not that futuristic, but still, personless stores that track your every movement does seem quite futuristic.
Okay, I am putting the sandwich back, y'all. I have decided to get a different sandwich today. I don't got no more sandwiches now.
You don't have to do that. You've already paid.
Well then, there's a tip. It's a tip!
On this theme of cutting out humans from parts of everyday life, Lunch and Ibar make eating and drinking a speedy and automated process. I first experienced the restaurant chain known as iLunch in July 2023. Since you order food yourself, pay for it and pick it up all by yourself, you don't interact with anyone from the restaurant if you don't need to. With a relatively limited menu, workers in the back assemble meals and put them on a conveyor belt for customers to pick up. After eating, guests just need to put their trays away. I believe it's a similar situation at Ibar. It's a self-service bar where you pour drinks yourself and only pay for what you drink. The company's website states that customers are, quote, not disturbed by waiters constantly running around and asking questions. Next up are autonomous delivery vehicles. This is a very, very recent development and very, very limited, but maybe things will change. So, on June 27th, Vilnius became the first city in Europe to be served by last-mile autonomous cars on city streets. This is a grocery delivery service where autonomous vehicles have different-sized lockable compartments. These cars can deliver 7 customer orders throughout the New Town and Old Town neighborhoods of Vilnius. For maximum safety, the company says that its cars drive no more than 25 kilometers an hour, and they also have 360-degree cameras and special sensors, allowing them to navigate the streets safely. These robotic vehicles are constantly monitored remotely in real time by humans. So after a customer orders, a human does the shopping at a nearby store and loads it into the vehicle. The customer then receives an SMS message with information on when the autonomous car will arrive. They also get a code that will unlock the door. I don't live in the service areas, and so I haven't tried it out myself, but it seems like a very futuristic thing. And finally, for the big things, we have self-service parcel lockers. Known as pastomatas, singular, or pastomate, plural. These facilities are places where you can conveniently pick up a parcel without needing to be home all the time, waiting for a letter carrier or parcel delivery person. Even crazier is the fact that you can send stuff with these things too. My wife uses it all the time to send stuff with websites like Bookswap LT or Vinted, but I haven't used it as much. Still, it's the ultimate form of convenience when compared to worrying about getting to a distant post office on time just to send out a parcel. To a far lesser extent, here are just a few little things that make Lithuania modern. First, there are lots of self-checkout kiosks at almost every supermarket. This is extremely useful for people who have yet to master the Lithuanian language. I know this is more and more common around the world, and so it's definitely not at all unique. Next is the bottle deposit refund system, which I think is a pretty great way to encourage recycling. So this is where you pay an additional 10 cents for every eligible drink container when purchasing at the store. But you get back the 10 cents by taking your empty containers to these conveniently placed facilities called ateromatas. This system is present in many other European countries already, but it's notably not something you'll find in the UK. Instead, if I were to buy a drink in London, England, I would just have to find a recycling receptacle on the street to dispose of my empty plastic bottle. At the same time, you wouldn't be paying that 10-cent deposit when purchasing a drink in the first place. And finally, when it comes to those little things, trains in Lithuania tend to run right on time. At least in my experience. No, it's not necessarily futuristic, but I think it's a good sign of a modern and well-organized society. I always thought that German trains would run on time just based on what I know of German culture, but from comedy videos I see on the internet, I've learned that German trains are notoriously not on time.
He said that the train is cancelled. Oh, so we got here early for no reason? We are actually taking a train from earlier, which was delayed by 45 minutes.
When it comes to sticking to the schedule, I always think about that time in 2017 when a Japanese train left 20 seconds early and a big public apology had to be issued. Something like this would probably never happen in most other countries. I won't go too much into things that make Lithuania feel like it's behind the times, but I did want to mention the old trolley buses still being operated in Vilnius. Now, these are so old that they kind of feel like vintage at this point. It's like taking a step back in time and having a living museum of sorts.
Even though we have all these awesome transportation options, but nothing beats a good old Soviet trolley bus. A ticket to ride this time machine barely costs €1, and it's definitely worth your money. Trust me, I know. I grew up with these things.
People were a little suspicious of the fact that the old trolley buses were taken out of service during the NATO summit in July 2023. The official public statement was that street closures meant that fewer buses needed to run, and so the city decided that the more modern, more comfortable buses should have priority in being on the streets. It makes sense. Now, if you haven't commented already, you might still be thinking about what I'm going to say next. In this video, it seems like the terms modern and futuristic essentially equate to replacing humans and their abilities with machines and technology. In a way, this is futuristic, since it is about technology and using it to make life easier. I know for sure that some people will see that as being more dystopic and negative. I am a little torn. On one hand, I despise not being able to speak to a human being when I call a customer service phone number. However, when it comes to simple and straightforward tasks like ordering and paying for a meal, I think technology is valuable in ensuring that you get exactly what you want. Autonomous vehicles would replace the jobs of delivery workers, but it might also make the delivery of goods safer. As with the great debate around adopting technologies, things are always complicated and there are many benefits and drawbacks. But one thing is for sure, it's going to be very, very interesting to watch this video again in like 10 years just to see how things have changed, or not changed. But I'd love to know what you think about some of these technologies making their way into daily life. Do they seem cool and futuristic, or do you think they are just dystopic and lacking a human touch? Let me know what you think by leaving a comment. For the Lithuanian word of the day, let's go with the word savarankiškas, which is a term that combines the English terms like independence and self-sufficiency, or doing something by yourself. More literally, it translates to self-handed, since the word for hand is ranka. Savarankiškas. Alright, well that's it for me. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.